Welcome to IT Live, presented by Academy Sports Outdoors. I'm Joe Cook. That's Justin Wells. That's Ian Boyd. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Go to that first link in our description. Join Inside Texas for just $1. You can also pause the video, use that QR code. You may not even have to pause the video. Just scan it right there. That'll get you to the sign up link as we try to continue all the different portal discussion, scouting. We know what everybody's looking for. We're looking for them too. Don't you worry. But we got to talk a little bit about one of the portal additions that they did add. Got to talk a little bit about MJ Morris.
Real quick. Is he an offensive guard?
No, he's not. I don't think he is. So
I'm logging off. I'm done. I'm out.
So we'll be talking a little bit about this. I'm going to pull up his game log real quick.
If he gained 100 good pounds, he might make a center.
I don't think you can gain it. Well,
yes, you can.
He's gaining 100 good pounds.
Well, we don't know that yet, Joe. We still have to do some more evaluating. We have to do some more, we have to do some more research. Let's not just not put him in a box. Let's not put him in a box.
Yes, we just give up, Joe? Is that what you're telling us?
God, yeah. Like
on him being a center, yes.
Joe's F it Friday on a Thursday. Come on, man.
Yes, yes, he's alive.
Unfortunately,
he's alive out in Tahoe. And then thank y'all for joining. Hey, Blake Bryant, but that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about O-line hysteria after we talk about this quarterback edition. I think, Ian, what you were saying before the show, well, we were kind of going back and forth about, we can bring it here. This says, Steve Sarkisian really likes having 4 quarterbacks, but it also says a little bit about what he thinks about KJ Lacey.
Yeah. When Trey Owens was lined up to be the backup, they went and they got a portal quarterback who had started games and held down a job and was clearly competent in Matthew Caldwell. So, and Caldwell played, and he played really, really well in extremely brief snaps, right? Well, when it's KJ Lacey who's next in line, with Diabell as the third string, they don't seem as concerned about getting a guy that will actually play. So they get this guy who's never been a full-time starter for more than a few games at a time, it looks like.
His run was against his main run as a starter was at the end of 2023, where NC State beat Clemson. These 2 games right here, beat Clemson, beat Miami. They didn't win that because of him, but 3-1 touchdown, interception, 6.4 yards per attempt.
They didn't win in spite of him either.
Against some decent, those are probably pretty good teams.
Those yards per attempt numbers tell you that he was throwing to the flats or not at all.
Yeah.
But
high percentage passing.
Sort of, though. He was only 50%.
Yeah.
Right.
He goes.
I'm trying to say 100 pounds can go a long way.
What I like about this one is that I feel like it speaks to some confidence in KJ Lacey. They're not really worried about bringing in a guy that's actually you wouldn't want this guy in the game with the season on the line if Arch was out for a game or 2.
No.
So that's not what they were looking for. Also interesting, this guy has played at 3 different schools, and I have no idea how many offenses, but I would think pretty different offenses at each school.
So for sure, you got whatever Dave Doran's been running, and and I think it was at that first year, it was probably Tim Beck. It was probably Tim Beck at NC State. I don't know what it would have been that second year because I think he took the Coastal job. So another year at NC State, goes to Maryland. That's a Mike Locksley system, which was a Saban-ish system and spread and kind of pro style. And then he goes back to Tim Beck. So a variety, kind of variety of offenses. something that looks a little bit like Sarkisian did with Loxley, maybe. So there's some familiarity there. Maybe.
Maybe not a ton, but I'll tell you what he does have familiarity with is the kind of stuff that you need to prep your defense against with your scout team quarterback every week.
Yep.
This guy seems like, and he's a little mobile, right? He's
mobile. Yes, he's mobile.
A little bit mobile. So that gives you a scout team quarterback that has operated a lot of different systems and played in a lot of different styles to give you a good look every week at what your opponent is going to run. Not a great look, but a valuable look, something that at least gives you a chance to get some good practice reps in.
I think if anything, this obviously it's not a threat to anybody who's on the roster long term, whether that's KJ Lacey or Dia Bell. It's probably insurance to where you don't have to play Dia Bell this year. If that. And Dia could change that for sure. But Dia didn't play football in 2025, or he played like a game. So there's still a lot to come back from for him. You feel good about KJ, and it gets Sark to the 4-man quarterback room that he really likes. I think I made that point. He likes having 4 because, you know, if you have a 3-man quarterback room and you lose just one, you are not in a great spot. If you have a 4-man room, you're not in a great spot, but it's better than it's better than the alternative.
I think Matthew Caldwell really spoiled these guys. I think that was like a absolute steal for a backup quarterback for what they were looking for. This is not that. This guy is not that. Now, like you said, he's going to bring different dimensions. He's going to have 3 or 4 different offenses on his play calling sheet. He's going to be really good for scout team and giving the defense some good looks of what they may see on Saturdays. But yeah, what this shows me is that they hit the lottery with Matthew Caldwell, and that would have been really hard to replicate, in my opinion.
I think this is also indicative of the new NFL roster management style strategy that they're pivoting towards. So like in the NFL, if you're paying for proven production and top line starters, that means you're not paying for backups anymore. And if you're not paying for backups, that means you're not stockpiling 4 and 5 stars to fill out your 3 deep, and you're not stockpiling future stars to fill out your practice squad. Your practice squad, you may bring in a Marcus Boswell or what's this guy's MJ Morris in to fill out your practice squad, and you're not bringing them in to develop to eventually be the first string. They stay on the bottom, and when you need the new first stringer, then you get the 5-star or you go to the portal. That's very, very different than how college football has been, and I think we're probably going to have to say that 1,000 times this offseason before it starts to permeate into the hive mind of fandom.
Everybody always mentions like Chase Daniel as like the perfect backup quarterback, but you're kind of talking about Case Keenum. Like Case Keenum floated around the league for like 10 years as a 3rd-string guy and has multiple playoff wins because those guys in front of him kept getting hurt, but he was competent, you know, and one of them was the Minnesota Miracle. One of them was with the Texans. You know, that's kind of what – I mean, I'm not saying this guy's Case Keenum, but I think –
No, you're not. No.
Yeah.
Those 2 guys threw for like 10,000 yards in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not the same people.
The college equivalent.
If you add 100 pounds to Case Keenum, he is a crappy center. If you add 100 pounds to MJ Morris, he's snapping like a Brockermeyer. I'm just saying.
The college comp would be like Matt Nordgren, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I like
God.
That. Someone who
God Vince didn't get hurt.
That would have been something. Matt
would have been
Matt Nordgren, someone we've heard.
Colt was a great backup. Colt never played backup. Oh, you mean he was a great backup in the NFL, Chris? I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought you meant in college. Yeah, Colt was like what, a 12 or 13 year backup in the NFL.
All the guys that were longtime backups in the NFL were generally freaking awesome in college.
Like, and think of you know who that is right now, or I mean, one's a starter and is starting in an NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
But Mariota's kind of like the new long-term backup, and he won the dang Heisman 12 years ago.
Dude, Mariota was dominant in college. He was a real load.
Dude, I remember covering the Alamo Bowl his junior year.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I remember saying, okay, that looks like the Heisman winner next year. Like, and he wasn't even healthy. I think he was like 70%. He was dealing with some stuff. He looked crazy. He was incredible. But yeah, that's the new NFL quarterback. You hold the clipboard for 7 or 8 years. You know, Sam Ehlinger's living the life. Like, that guy right now is one play from playing in the AFC Championship game. I love that.
Jarrett Stidham's been living the life until this week. You know,
Jarrett Stidham's rookie card has gone up 644% over the last 3 days. Now, when it started at $1.89, it's only at about $50 now, but that is still a substantial jump to tell you, hey, a backup can get it.
What about what's Ellinger's like right now?
Still pretty. It doesn't move. It's pretty common. It doesn't move.
That one I feel like could
like
be a nice one to be holding.
And Sam comes in and does something miraculous. Guys, you may never see me on this show again because I got a lot stocked. But that's the funniest part about it is, those are your guys going into this weekend.
If Sam Ehlinger ever wins a Super Bowl MVP, Justin Wells will be a very, very wealthy man.
Dude, unbelievably. You're not even lying, man. And I'm taking you all with me. We're all going, brother. We're all getting on. It'll be a blast.
You know where you can buy trading cards? Academy.
Fast one.
Same day delivery powered by DoorDash.
All right. We know there's a lot of questions about offensive line. Throw some questions.
Can I just
bring
say,
some O-line questions? Let's talk
Can I just say, watching the Broncos offense against the Bills, I totally feel like Ehlinger could execute that like Bo Nix. I feel like him and Bo Nix are very similar players.
That's what Davis Webb thinks, and that's why he turned down more money to go to other teams to stay as a third-string quarterback in Denver because of that relationship with those guys, Nick Stidham and with Sean Payton.
I don't understand why Stidham is ahead of him, honestly. Maybe we'll find out.
Probably maybe a little older, a little more athletic, a little more your stereotypical type quarterback, taller, bigger.
But their offense is geared around
bigger.
Their offense is geared around Bo Nix, who's just so similar to Ehlinger. He's like stocky, quick thinking. Hopefully, we can
see him in 2013 when they lost in the state title state runner-up against Kilgore. Kilgore had knocked him out. Stidham was great. I think he was committed to Baylor at the time. You guys all remember how crazy that recruitment was. But Stidham was, man, he could spin that ball, man. And it's so funny because Auburn claims him so hardcore, just like they claim Bo Nix so hardcore. They were there for what, a couple semesters maybe.
His dad went there too.
Do what?
Bo Nix's dad was an Auburn star.
Yeah.
Dr. Bo.
We'll keep going on. We can talk about so many different things, but Ian, I want to talk about something that you brought up over on Inside Texas. You wrote about earlier. We've mentioned it a lot. It's the mint front, and you're mentioning, how Will Muschamp can even build a defensive front that thrives with smaller linebackers. Because at this point, you bring in Justin Cryer, who may be the only Mike of the bunch. Rasheem Briles probably is a will. Marcus Boswell probably doesn't see action this year. Anthony Smith, definitely a will. We don't know what they're going to do with Brad Spence. You got Tyler Atkinson in the wings. There's just a lot of, I don't want to say lighter linebackers. But you're mentioning in this article that there's probably a solution for Will Muschamp if they can't find exactly what they want at Mike in the portal.
Yeah. So I think you have to conclude that the most likely outcome is, you can scroll down just a little bit, maybe zoom in too. That's good. You're looking at playing 3 linebackers at the Mike, Will, or Money, and the edge spots that go 6'2", 241, Simmons. That's not a very big edge. He might be bigger next year. I don't think anybody's worried that Simmons is too small.
It's like a Micah Parsons prototype.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants, but he's not big. Okay. Rasheem Biles, 6'1", 220. That's like an Oklahoma safety. Ty Anthony Smith, 6'1", 216. Another safety. And that's probably your 3 linebackers on the team next year.
Your best.
Your 3 best. Yeah. So you're like, how in the world are they going to play in the SEC and not get trampled? And so then the answer is 3 down.
In front.
3 down, mint front.
Mid front.
3 down front, where if you scroll down, I show you what the depth chart can look like. And I think this is what they're doing because when you arrange it like this, Texas's main players fit better and it protects the linebackers. So can you make it a little bigger?
Yeah.
There we go. Edge, Colin Simmons, Lance Jackson, Zena Umeozulu, who notably almost transferred out. Why do you think he did that?
Let's not bring that up. That has nothing to do with roster management. It really.
Well,
he probably thought he could get starters money and be a starter.
Oh, that's not what. Yeah. Zena's an outlier, fellas. Keep going.
Drop that line of the argument. You get Simmons and Jackson as edges with Zena and maybe Vosick, right?
Yes.
You can play Canoe, Jaffrard, and Watson as your 3 down guys with January, Williams, and Terry off the bench. And now you have a very functional 2 deep where it's easy to get snaps for all your guys. And I think this helped Watson and Terry a lot. And it doesn't change anything for Canoe. And it might make things better for January too, because now he's not playing nose anymore.
That's a good point.
You also, I didn't list the weights here, but Canoe is like 6'5", 320 or something like that. He's like,
I got to tell you, he hides that really well. I know Joe sees him in media things. I saw him on last Saturday. I got to talk to him for a few minutes coming out of the facility. He doesn't look 6'5", 320 guys. Like, I don't know where he hides it. He's got a giant dome too, but he's a really big, engaging, interacting guy.
He's listed at like 6'5", 300. Okay.
300 I could see. He's just not as big as I was expecting.
January is listed about the same. Watson is listed 6'3", 310. And then Jaffrard is 6'5", 387. And Zion Williams is 6'4", 360. So you're just putting just a wall of flesh.
Meat and potatoes.
In front of your little safety-sized linebacker core. And then if you deploy them in a semi-intelligible way, all of a sudden your linebackers, nobody's getting to them anyway. So it doesn't matter that they're small. And the fact that they're fast becomes an asset.
I think I've seen people around the Texas ecosystem, the market even, bring up the name Gary Johnson a couple times when thinking about this upcoming defense and what's possible. Could either, Biles or Ty Anthony, I mean, those guys seem like maybe you don't want 2 Gary Johnsons on the field at one time, but if they're going to have them, then maybe this isn't a bad situation for them.
They basically did have 2 Gary Johnsons because Malik was only big at linebacker next to Gary Johnson. They were both like
230. Well, Malik
was maybe 230. Gary was like 215.
Yeah.
But they were both, you didn't look at them and like, that's a dude that's going to go stonewall a guard. They were both out on the field because they were blazing fast.
Yeah.
Johnson was very dense. Very, very dense.
He was.
He didn't go backwards. He was a shark. He went forward.
They played the same. They played basically the same style. They actually played it with even smaller dudes than this in front of them. Because it was like Hager and Aminahu and Roach and like Puna Ford. And it worked pretty dang well.
All of who still play in the NFL, aside from Hager.
So when I have one question for you. Why Lance Jackson maybe at that edge?
I was
spot?
thinking this. I was thinking this too, and then I see him over here at defensive end. Good question.
Yeah, because the one hesitation I have about Lance Jackson that I think can be pretty much taken care of if he puts on a little bit of weight is can he play 4-eye?
Hold that point of attack.
And the thing is, he probably can, but he'll have to do it if he wants to stay at defensive end. You know, that's the one thing I'm looking at. I'm just kind of like, that gives me a little bit of hesitation about using a player like that.
Seeing his brother Landon's body, I think Lance in the next, like you said, Joe, you know, in time, he'll kind of fill into that a little bit more. Don't forget that kid, I think, is still 19 years old.
I caught some snaps the other day. I was evaluating how Smith and Spence played at linebacker against Michigan. And I caught some clips of Lance Jackson playing a little more inside or like tougher techniques and getting washed out. He needs more size, and he may probably more importantly than that, he needs a lot more technique to hold up in a position like that. I think it'd be a lot easier to just let him play edge and let him where his like power and speed and strength are just
his first
overwhelming guys on the edge, and he doesn't have to learn how to anchor and use all that to like not get blown away by double teams. They have Justice Terry and Murad Watson in January and Canoe. So it's like, what's the point? Just let him play edge.
I'm excited for Watson and Terry in this.
I was about to say, if Drew Kelson is watching this, I had nothing to do with putting Murad Watson. That's an Ian Boyd thing. So that's
What's the deal? What's the deal there? What's Drew's thing?
Don't you remember in our group chat for the whole year about how upset he would get about Watson having a bad play or poor play?
But
and
Drew,
then like every 2 weeks he would grade out pretty well in PFF, and I'd go, "Hey Drew, you see these grades?" He's like, "I ain't buying it." No,
yeah, but
he was convinced.
I think Drew will be on my side on this because if he's playing a 5 technique or a 4-eye and a 3 down, then you're not going to get the thing that I'm assuming Drew was crazy about.
Crazy, right?
Watson trying to anchor and then just getting pushed back.
Yeah,
that's like a much smaller concern at this spot. It would be a concern for Lance Jackson, but for Watson, it's much easier.
There's I need to find the little clip because basically all we're going to see a lot more stemming of fronts this year too.
Amen.
Which is going to be pretty fun to watch other teams commit false start penalties with, because teams tried to do that and made it work against Texas plenty over the past few years. But like one thing Georgia does very well is they stem their fronts, and they do it legally because I remember, what was it? Colin Simmons got flagged for delay a game for like clapping twice.
The cadence.
And that's a violation more of the letter of the law than the spirit of it, because he's like looking at his safety and trying to get his attention, but they're trying to take a hard line on that. You can stem, but like you can't false start basically as a defensive lineman, even if you don't jump in the neutral zone. It's like they made that a very, very big point of emphasis.
As long as you keep it along the line of scrimmage, you can move all you want. You just can't go forward.
And because in the Muschamp defense and the Kirby defense, they try so hard to change fronts before offenses can really react. You're going to see that a lot, and you're going to see these guys have to fit multiple roles. But I feel like for the most part, like looking at about 80% of this chart, you see guys where you're like, yeah, that fits. Yeah, that fits. Odd structure for that one, works for that one. And so you'll see that a lot this year. Excuse me.
I feel like this fits better. Who do you look at here and you're like, I don't know.
Nobody.
Lance a little bit. And then he's not on here. Vosick.
Well, it's just his room. His room gets crowded out when his room shrinks from 2 positions to 1. Is the thing, right?
Yeah, and then everybody. I'm part of me wonders if you know how on offensive line it's like you don't get the next left guard, you get your next offensive lineman to go in and you work it out from there.
Uh-huh.
I wonder, like, is Zion Williams going to play more snaps than Alex January, like that type of thing? Because I don't think I don't think you take away snaps from January for Zion just to say like we need a nose tackle. You know,
No, I don't think that's the case.
That's the best reason why you wouldn't see as much of this. But I wonder if I think Canoe could play nose tackle in this scheme, and that would absolve them
You
of
don't
that
think he
sin.
plays too high for that? He seems like he plays at a really high pad level for a guy along the lines.
So does Ian Gaffard and Zion.
Well, I was going to say, I think in the next 6 months for Torrey Becton, one of his main priorities is to reshape Gaffard and Williams as much as he can, because they need some molding.
I'll tell you what, for all the crap I give Becton and his approach, I like him for maximizing Boswell, who's already gained good weight, and for maximizing Gaffard and Zion Williams so that they are in better condition to play more snaps. And we've seen him do that with enormous fellas before.
And Gaffard also, he already played a lot of snaps too. Like he had to do it at Arkansas.
Yeah, but he wasn't very good at it.
and that's part of the portal. That's part of your portal strategy.
And that's part of, maybe why Sam Pittman got fired.
Part of it.
But yeah, you meant, and I'm glad you meant, I think this is good for Murad Watson, because if you watch that, his tape against, there's a good all 22 tape of him versus Washington State in their bowl game from, I guess it's 2024. He plays every spot on the line. Like I think.
And he did that as a sophomore that year.
Or he may have even been
freshman.
A freshman.
No, he may have been a redshirt freshman, Joe.
Yeah. And then Justice Terry, I was still trying to figure out where Justice Terry was going to play on the PK defense. And now it's like, okay, we don't have to worry about
more
that
clear.
anymore. This is perfect for him. So that's the front. What about the linebackers though? And how does a 2-gapping nose and a couple 4 eyes and this edge on the weak side help some smaller linebackers?
So these are the defensive line fits. So you see that there are 4 interior gaps that are in between offensive linemen, and all of them are at least partially accounted for by a defensive lineman. So the linebackers in this scheme, they play A gap to C gap. They're 2-gapping, the linebackers. They'll stack behind those big defensive linemen and kind of hide behind them a little bit so that they're harder to reach for the linemen when they're combo blocking. And they watch and they see, okay, is the running back coming into the A gap? Because if he does, I'll be there. And then when the running back has to bounce outside, the next diagram shows the linebacker fits if you scroll down. If you create the double teams on the defensive linemen, now the linebackers are going, okay, is the running back coming downhill into the A gap? If not, he's going outside to the C gap, and I'm going to run and scrape over and be there after I've made sure that he's not in the A. So if the running back were to come inside on this play and then bounce out towards the Y, the money backer would go out to meet him, and the Mike linebacker would fit in the A gap behind him. If the running back were to bounce out towards the bottom, towards the H, the Mike would run out to meet him at the C gap and turn him back inside, while the money would be waiting in the backside A gap.
Ian, is that Mike backer setting the edge in that play?
Not exactly. The star would also come down, or the strong safety, depending on the coverage.
Okay. I'd say the star. Okay.
would come to make sure that he couldn't just keep bouncing forever to the sideline.
Right.
There'd be a defensive back that would make sure that doesn't happen. That was
Okay.
a very good question, Justin.
Um,
And if you were to do if you were to go the other way, the jack, the J, the edge, he would serve that same role.
okay. So this is duo, right?
Yeah, inside
Oh,
zone. It
sounds
doesn't-
like- Yeah.
the play doesn't even matter though. It's still going to be like inside or outside.
Makes sense.
We could see some of that trio that Indiana was running.
They ran them and Texas both have been running this NFL scheme called duo wrap, where it's like duo, but then you also pull a wide receiver around to serve as a lead blocker as well. That first big Christian Clark run against Michigan, they pulled Ryan Wingo and pulled him to the side that already had two tight ends to serve as an extra lead blocker for Clark. And they ran that a few times in that game. And Indiana ran it a ton in the championship.
Charlie Becker's a good lead blocker.
All those Indiana dudes are about it.
So what's aside from size in 320-pound guard versus 216-pound safe linebacker,
Right.
what are some of the other maybe weak points for something like this?
If you protect them with the defensive line, you're good. Another weak spot could be the blitz, where like if you're blitzing a 230 or a 240-pound linebacker, then potentially if they scheme up their protection to get somebody in the way, then he's not going to be able to go through them. Whereas a 240-pound linebacker, maybe you protect and get a guy in the way, but he still just blasts through like Anthony Hill. Biles and Smith are not going to blast through blockers like Anthony Hill did. But they might be able to beat them with other techniques other than just running through them. And even Anthony Hill, man, there's a reason he was beat up at the end of every season. And it was
Every season.
it's because he would play through people all the time.
Yes.
So there's some diminishing returns for that strategy anyways. But yeah, blitzing could potentially be a little more hit or miss, I guess.
Because Muschamp, as we've kind of been talking about, sees coverage as back to front. I mean, you just running quarters behind this?
Could be anything.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily have to be anything in particular. You still have to have your overhangs and your whatever else, but they would all they could do a lot of different things. Doesn't pigeonhole them to any specific deal.
This is a good point, though, from Joey Austin. Mass times accelerate. Force. I always heard it was force equals mass times acceleration. F equal ma, not ma equal f. Use speed to compensate for lack of size. That's the thing. But
that was Jimmy Johnson's MO.
Yeah. At the same time, sometimes again, guards
It's
are
not
guard.
Anthony Hill was as fast as the linebackers they have now and heavier.
Yeah.
So
That's
you're
why
not going
the
to make
guards
up for the missing mass with more acceleration, because the 230, 240 pound linebackers that are really good that Muschamp is going to want to eventually have on the roster are going to be just as fast as these guys, but just also bigger.
Hey, guess who got a B- in high school physics? Didn't have to take that at Texas, thank goodness.
I learned most of my physics watching The Big Bang Theory.
I don't know how to transition from that, but I'll try to. We'll hear from Andre the lawyer.
Texans know when you're injured, there's one name that gets results: Andre the lawyer. Trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans win their injury cases. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what your claim is worth. Andre the lawyer will fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait. Call 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. Contact info is in the description.
What were you about to say, Justin?
I don't know. What were we talking about?
Physics.
It was,
No, I went Big Bang Theory, and you were like, well, we can't transition to that. But Andre the Lawyer, former astrophysicist, now turned attorney.
Oh my gosh.
If that would have been real, that'd have been cool. Okay, yeah.
I have to do this real fast. The only class I ever got worse than a C in was Astronomy 2.
I took Astronomy 1 and I
Astronomy 1 was pretty easy. Astronomy 2, the only grades were the 5 tests, and I studied hard and I bombed 3 of them. So yeah, Astronomy 2.
Did you take those classes with like the eagerness to kind of learn about astronomy and space? And
yeah,
because to me, I am, and Alexander, my son as well, we are fascinated by that kind of stuff. When I went to Smithsonian in DC, like the space exhibit was the main reason I went. Like I'll dive into documentary stuff on that all day. I can't imagine what the astronomy class would actually have been like.
It was tough. This one from KD. Are y'all still looking at CJ Watley Jr.? I can't find who you're talking about.
He's talking about CJ Whaley Jr. And it's CJ Whaley, Chris Whaley Jr. He's a 2028. He's only a sophomore. And he actually came off of a visit to Texas A&M, picked up an offer. He'd already picked up an offer from A&M. Florida offered him. LSU just offered him. He's going to have every offer in the country, and he still has Texas in his eyes. I wouldn't be surprised to see him coming in spring. He's actually playing basketball right now. He's got a little brother. He's a lefty. I think he's in 8th grade. Oh, my gosh. The Whaleys are coming strong in Atlanta, Texas.
What were you saying, Ian?
I Googled CJ Watley Jr. and I got like an obituary as the first hit. So
yeah, that's what I was seeing. And then like I was seeing like UTEP stuff. This one's from Dave. Would love to have one of those live videos to discuss the most recent O-line ad. We did do a video on Melvin Siani, but I know you're just looking for like, you want another video. You want another O-line video. And trust us, we want to record one too.
We may have one already recorded.
Yeah. But we're trying. This is one of those things. I actually just sent this to Justin. Kyle Flood and Sark were out in Anna today talking to Peyton Miller, 2027 O lineman. And that doesn't mean that, when they're in the car that they can't be doing some evals and talking to other kids. But this is an odd time of year where, yes, they have the portal and, it fits into the whole like calendar complaints that we've been talking about. But the portal, junior day, high school recruiting and in-homes, Justin, like it really is kind of a nonstop venture, especially when it's a program like Texas, which still believes in high school recruiting, has to go high school recruit.
I don't know if I've been asked or talked about more in the radio sense, the video sense, than about the NCAA calendar and how it's just, and how we know, because we talk to a lot of those guys, a lot of those sources, like it is a beating. It is a nonstop. It never lets up. It doesn't end. I think they get a little wink of time in that last weekend in June where they don't host officials. And Sark's like, okay, go see your wife and kid for the first time in 6 months, kiss them and tell them you won't see them again for another 6 months. Like it's so stacked on top of each other. It is pushing these guys. It's turning into a young man's coaching sport. I'm telling you, a lot of the older guys are not going to hang around for this. It is, especially the retention and portal. We can go into all that, but yeah, the calendar has completely stacked this on top of each other. And listen, we're only about a month away from beginning of spring ball. And so they're trying to transition to make sure they get everything, lined up with the early enrollees, get them lined up with the portal guys that are home. At the same time, they're going coast to coast to try to stockpile this 2027 class and build on some 2028s. And if you don't think these coaches are talking to these high school coaches and saying, hey, you remember so-and-so that used to come through here? He plays over here at this school right now. What do you think he's up to right now? If you don't think they're not doing some networking in that regard on the back end with portal stuff, think again. It is never ending. It doesn't stop. And you know what? Give Texas coaches credit. I mean, they get paid well to do what they do, but man, they work really hard.
It is a lot going on right now. So
they're wearing a lot of hats, is the way I was told. Sunday. A lot of guys wearing a lot of hats. Didn't Charlie report yesterday, one of the assistant coaches that was on the road that we wouldn't usually see? Like they're trying to operate at a maximum level right now. They're sending out guys that aren't necessarily just assistants. And I think that is substantial in this direction.
Yeah, this is a lot of different fun. Fun covering it just to see the team come together, but it's a lot of just taxing work covering the team, covering them, trying to do all that at the same time too. It's kind of one of those times. I know we talked about the quarterback, talked a little bit about what Will Muschamp can do, went over some recruiting earlier in the week, but man, I'm not sure what else to talk about other than something we touched on, all the different Longhorns that are playing this upcoming weekend.
And they're 13.
RT posted something, and I think there may be 13, but there are 10 active players.
10 active roster, 13 total. It leads the NFL.
Let's see. So you got,
and Denver's got half of them.
Oh wait, hold on. I got to get the right thing up. There we go.
They call it the Denver Longhorns for a reason.
So you got Dixon, Murphy, Roach, Locke, Barron, Ford, Schooler. I guess that's Little Jordan, Sam, and then Jordan Whittington.
No, Little Jordan is to the far right.
No,
that's Jordan Whittington. That's Little. Yeah. That's actually the littler Jordan of the two Jordans, if you want to be honest. I don't know how Little Jordan got little when he was 6'4", but I know what it was. It was like a little Michael Jordan. I get it. Can you believe he's still catching the rock in the league? Man?
This is all. I mean,
yes, I can.
Man,
he was so good.
With weather moving in this weekend, I feel like a lot of people from around the country are just going to be chilling at home. This is my favorite weekend of pro football because it's I think last weekend's fun, but you're almost always certain to get a really good game. 2 really good games this weekend.
Yeah.
Super Bowl is what it is. Sometimes you get a laugher, but it's like 2 back-to-back high-stakes games. And we get to see so many different guys. Little Jordan Humphrey, who I'm sure Jared Stidham and maybe Sam Ehlinger are going to be looking after. But, man, if you're Sean Payton, do you maybe use Sam Ehlinger for some goal line stuff? Or do you protect that and not have to worry about a third
no, it's the playoffs. It's the game before the Super Bowl. You use it. You empty the clip. You can't take those bullets with you to the next game.
Yep.
Where is this game in Seattle or Denver?
Seattle, and it is a
whoa.
No. Seattle and Denver are 2 different conferences.
Yeah.
You're right.
We're showing our butts right now.
Yeah, this is LA, and oh gosh. I am showing my butt. Okay, New England at Denver. There we go.
There
2
you go.
cold weather.
Oh, it's in Denver. That is.
Denver was the number 1 seed, and Seattle was the number 1 seed in the NFC.
There we go. I mix up.
Hey, no. That's an old AFC West battle, the Broncos and Seahawks, and we saw it at the Super Bowl 10 years ago. So, Joe, you're good.
What's the weather pattern look like?
All bad.
What about for way out west out there?
I mean, I'm going to look at January in Denver.
Northwest. Yeah. I have a feeling it's going to be a drizzle. Like, I think it's a natural drizzle there.
It's supposed to be sunny, but ice cold in Denver this week.
It's like every other week. Okay.
Yeah, like 20 degrees, but
I don't think we're going to see the weather we saw last weekend. It's going to be cold because it's January. It's where they're located. But last weekend, aesthetically, was some of the best football you could watch. Like, there was snow in like half the playoff games.
I think it's a double win for Denver to play in altitude and not in Foxborough, where it's probably going to be
100%
snowy and cold.
100%. Give PJ Locke all the love, guys. That guy, goodness gracious.
PJ Locke's done a great job. Just, that he's often been a player that's had blame pinned on him because of what they make him play.
Yeah.
And yet here he is in the league 9 years after he was in college. Like, impressive career. Same with Malcolm Roach.
Whoever wrote this story, which I have a feeling it was Ian, Adding the former Texags documentary star
was RT.
Oh, that was RT?
Yeah,
RT,
you
you did it right, brother. You did it right.
That Denver defense too. I'm just thinking of the players there. You got 2 Longhorns and Locke and Barrett, and then you have probably maybe the best corner in the game in Surtain.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough for Drake May and company in this game.
You're just gonna knock your own dude Singletary down like that, or Stingley?
Yeah, I am.
He's not the best corner. He's one of the best. He's one of the best.
Ethan Strauss had a great post like the other week on some of Stingley's stats this year. It's like this guy might be quietly one of the most impactful football players in the entire league.
Quietly, dude. I think it's pretty known how elite he is.
But like best defensive player in the league. Good.
I think he could trend towards that. I really do. I just
that was the argument.
Maybe a couple other ones more, but no. I mean, Stingley's in that conversation. I don't think
Joe doesn't think so. Joe is praising everybody else's players and just dissing his own team.
Listen, Joe is still mad because C.J. Stroud was shaving. Okay, so he's still trying to get over the fact that the Texans have the best defense in the NFL in the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years, but C.J. Stroud decided, nah, bro, not today. So Joe's kind of toned that out.
Yeah. Still a lot of good defensive players.
It's mostly defense.
Brendan Schooler, hey, this
Pro Bowler.
He found his niche and he has lived his life.
Pro Bowl, Brendan Schooler. You better represent.
He has done a great job.
Did you see McAfee's tweet on Michael Dixon the other day?
I think so.
He has been – that's why you draft a punter or that punter.
That's why you draft – I mean, he's been an all-pro almost every year except for one, either first or second team. Yeah, he may end up like a top punter in football history.
Oh, yeah, he should. And you and I can say we saw his very first punt in college, the very first attempt in practice in college. We got to see it. I know you were there. I was there. I think you were there. He sent that sucker down Red River, and I'll never forget it.
And then
the only person catching that was the 2011 Honda Civic that it hit in the street.
Any other Seahawks? You got Byron Murphy.
Byron Murphy not making the Pro Bowl was criminal. Byron Murphy was the single best Texas Longhorn NFL player in the league this year. Period.
There's a running
Tell me
back.
Somebody better. Besides Bijan Robinson, tell me somebody better.
I was about to say, like, there was a running back.
Bijan's the only one. Byron Murphy he is one of the reasons Seattle's defense is so damn good.
Other on the Rams, Poona Ford still getting
Love the Poona.
Still playing in the middle. And then Jordan Whittington, who had a big catch the other day.
He did.
Y'all remember when after the bowl game against Missouri, and somebody asked Tom Herman if he'd ever had a punter impact a game like Dixon had impacted that game? And he was like, I don't know if I've ever seen a punter impact a game like Dixon just impacted that one.
Man, there's nothing like that one.
I just remember when he got the MVP, like Joe, I've never seen his cheeks more red, ever. It was awesome.
It was fun. And then he's doing the secure the bag. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Good times. A little short today. We hit the big topics, but we're going to be hitting on all the topics over on Inside Texas. So make sure you go over there, use that first link in our description, or use the QR code there. At the top left of the screen, join for just $1. We're deciphering the transfer portal picture. Come help us decipher the transfer portal picture. We got all the recruiting scoop, everything you need as we hit a little bit of a weird lull. The roster is not going to see any more departures, which I'm glad about. I'm going to write about a little bit. And now it's just time to make additions. So, gentlemen, thank y'all so much. Thank you for watching. It's been IT Live presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
The next portal transfer.